All right, texting mic 1 2 3. I think I'm live. Okay, I'm live now. All right. Good morning, good afternoon. Welcome to how do I put it? Welcome to a new week. It's the third week of March. It's Monday, 17th of March. Let's start with the dollar index as usual. Now before I do, this week we do have a lot, literally a lot of high impact news. I think if there was a way for me to, let me see if I can. I think I can. Let me, maybe going forward, I'll do something like that. Okay, so let me paste it here so you can see what I'm talking about. So if you look at the economic calendar, you will see that we have a lot of high impact news this week. Now, this is going to be, it's gonna make trading this week fun, at the same time a little bit risky, because there's going to be a lot of movement. Today at 12:30 we have the core retail, which I'm surprised is on a Monday. So we're gonna get some moves on Monday. And then on Tuesday we have CAD CPI. Wednesday we have the federal fund rate, which is the rate announcement, followed by FOMC. And then at 9:45 same day we have NCT, which is the New Zealand GDP. Then midnight 12:30 a.m. we have unemployment, again high impact news. Then 7 a.m. climate count change at 7 a.m. that is going to affect the GBP. Then 12 p.m. we have the GBP rate announcement. 12:30 we have the governor of Bank of England speaking. And then on Friday we have CAD core retail news. So the week is full of high impact news. Hence, you need to be really careful this week if you are trading the currencies or the indices or gold or crude oil. You need to be very careful this week because of what I've just showed you right now. There's a lot of high impact news coming. Now let's start with the dollar index. Dollar index, I think they will be coming for this low here. They'll be coming back for this low because last week, I think Thursday, I said that if we cannot close above this this volume imbalance, then price is going to reject and come back. Okay, if we don't close through that volume imbalance, price is going to come back. And we had Thursday reject, Friday also rejecting, but Friday went and took out previous day's high and then broke the 1 hour structure here, and I mentioned that based on that, it's gonna give a trade idea on Aussie to go up, euro dollar to go up, pound dollar to go up, and New Zealand to go up. But I chose the pound dollar, right? And I gave you the reason why I chose the pound dollar. The reason why I chose the pound dollar was because it did attack the previous day's low and then rejected. Okay, so based on that, that's why I chose the pound dollar to go up. Today I was probably expecting them to run low one more. If the dollar had pulled back, then they'll run this low to this gap that happened in the New York session, and then we go up to attack this side, but it didn't do that, and they've screamed up. So we will be aiming for that high. So expect price to go to attack this high, which comes in at 1.29918. Now, maybe after this H4 candle closes, the next H4 candle, which is in the next 48 minutes, the next H4 candle, you can drop down into the lower time frame and then find a gap and then buy that. Okay, so this gap here, when the H4 closes, the next one that opens, the low is likely going to form here, this gap. So when the next H4 in 48 minutes, when that one opens, you want to anticipate them dropping in here and then aiming for this high, right? Or it can go here as a target. Okay, so you can leave some of that trade idea if it does come there. Now your stop, make sure you put it below this gap, so this candle's low, and then you can aim for this and then that. So that will be what you can do with the British pound. Again, I like the British pound. Okay, euro is not bad either, because euro will also go for this equal high, this and that. So same thing, if you want to buy the euro, drop down. I think I like this gap here. So if we pull back to that, you're gonna place a buy limit here. As I'm speaking, you can place a buy limit here, leave your stop loss below that, and then expect them to continue going up. You can take partial profit if it does give you an entry. You can take partial profit right here, right inside this fair value gap, and then you can let the rest go. Okay, maybe there's another gap over there. Yep, that. So this will be like potential partial profit levels. Okay, so that is that for euro. The New Zealand is just screaming up since the market opened. I think if you recall, last week we talked about this gap here. For those of you that have been following along, we talked about this gap here, this one to that one. So you can go back and watch maybe Thursday session, and then you hear me talking about the news event that was coming they were going to send it down to attack this low here, pick up orders from there, and then send it up. Came up, broke structure, came back down, fair value gap, New York session, and then off to the races it went. So I think I managed to get some of this trade, and I'm still riding it. My entry was during that news event. Okay, I got in during that news event, and then I left my stop loss below this low. Okay, and then you can see where we are now. Now on the weekly, there's room to the upside to this level, and then that. Let me make a projection. Okay, so that's the range, and we are yet to get to 50%. So there will be room to the upside. Now, in my opinion, the New Zealand, the Aussie will catch up with what the British pound and the euro has done. Okay, so if you look at euro, we are in premium relative to the range. If you look at British pound, we are in premium relative to the range. But if you look at Aussie, we are still in discount. If you look at New Zealand, we are still in discount. New Zealand is actually moving much more than the Australian dollar, because we have Aussie New Zealand dropping. It's going to attack this low here. Okay, we have the Aussie New Zealand dropping, so we have some strength in the New Zealand. That's why you see the New Zealand dollar pushing higher, and the New Zealand pairs like Euro New Zealand dropping, the Pound New Zealand also dropping, and New Zealand CAD rallying. I think New Zealand CAD, we spoke about it last week, buying buying this range, and then we'll be aiming for this equal high. Okay, so I think if you can focus on the Aussie and the New Zealand, that would be a great pair for potential high. Might quote unquote pause because they've already moved into premium, and then they'll push the Australian dollar and the New Zealand dollar. So this week, the economic calendar, the news that I shared, they might use the all the news that is coming on the Australian dollar and then the New Zealand dollar. They might use those news events to shoot price up. So be aware of those news events on the Australian dollar and the New Zealand dollar, because they might use that news event to shoot those two pairs up. Okay, so let me paste it again so you can see when we have that. So that is Wednesday, the GDP on New Zealand. They might use that to shoot New Zealand up, and then on Thursday at 12:30, they might use the employment change and unemployment rate to also shoot the Australian dollar up. Okay, now if you look from the daily perspective, we will be attacking this high, right? And we are down here. So maybe after today closes, I like the range that we've created. Okay, we've gone about this high. So we have this low. We did take out this low here. So we have a nice range. If for whatever reason we see a pullback, especially on Wednesday, that will be a very good one. If we get the rate announcement to push this thing lower, then we'll buy back up again. Okay, so if you get the rate announcement to push the New Zealand into retracement, it will be a wonderful thing, because they will I'm just trying to paint a picture. Okay, so let's zoom in again. The rate announcement is at 6 p.m. and the FOMC is at 6:30. So that might, I'm not saying it's gonna shoot dollar up, but it can. And if it does, all the foreign currencies are going to drop. So if we get Australian dollar to push down in the form of a drop, that will be a retracement to the area that I've marked. And then at 12:30, they say just few hours after that, 12:30, that news event will come out and then they will shoot it back up again. Right? So let's see how Wednesday is going to behave, especially the dollar index. Let's see how it's going to behave. And then based on how it behaves, it can give us an idea on how to trade the Australian dollar and the New Zealand dollar going forward. Okay. Okay. Today I'm expecting them to attack previous week low. I think by now, some of you are familiar with the idea of previous day's high being taken and then price going for the previous day low, right? So if you can see on the weekly time frame, we took out the previous week high, right? So they'll be attacking the previous week low. On the H4, we have this up candle. So I think I do not want to see them trade through this up candle, and then they'll attack this previous week low. So that can be a trade idea for today. All right, here stop goes there, and then we attack this low. Now if that does not happen and they stop out and then come up here, it's even much better. Okay, I'm not saying that's what they're gonna do, but if they come up here, that's much better because it gives us more room to the downside, right? More profit. So whatever happens, we'll be expecting them to attack this low. Okay, we'll be expecting them to attack this low, either from here, there, or there to there. So that's your trade idea on the Australian Aussie, Euro Aussie, Australian Aussie. Where did you get that from? Anyway, same thing applies to Pound Aussie. I'm expecting Pound Aussie to also attack previous week low, either from here or this one. And there's a nice fair value gap here. We have equal highs over there. So it's either they use this gap, which that's what I expect them to do, to attack this low, or they will run the high and dip into this fair value gap and then drop. So you can keep an eye on both of them, or sometimes that's what I do. I'll divide the risk into two. And then I'll take one trade here and I'll take the other trade there. All right, that's sometimes how I do it. Instead of taking the trade, the full risk, if I'm risking, let's say 1%, I'll not take the 1% here. I'll take 0.5 and I'll take 0.5, but all the stop will be above this gap. It'll be above it. All right. Okay. So these are potential trade ideas going forward. Another one that I also found was euro pound. I'm expecting euro pound to go and attack this equal high, and this high. Okay, and this high. So this week, that's the potential trade idea on this. Now, in terms of the entry, I'm not buying as it's dropping. Okay, just so you know, if you're here, you know how we buy. Unless you are not part of us, then this might be like a mystery. But we wait for at least a confirmation on the lower time frame. So the actual level that you can look at for is here. They can hit this last up candle and then start going up, or they will drop into this gap here and then start going up. We want at least a 5 minutes or 15 minutes break of structure before we get in. Okay, so all the members, right, the private members that you do get the trade ideas from me, that's always going to be the case unless you're not going to be in front of the screen, right? We don't just blindly buy when it's dropping, or blindly buy when it's blindly sell when it's rallying. We always want to wait for some form of a confirmation. If we get the confirmation, that's when we execute. We don't trade like this. Okay, so when it gets here, if you're not going to be in front of the screen, that is when you place the buy limit and then you forget about it, and then you leave it up to let's say you leave it up to hope. But if we can be in front of the screen, we want price to come and then give us something like this, then we execute. Okay, so that's that for the euro pound for this week. I think this week, this is the third week of the month. Okay, so we will have some great moves, big moves. And again, I've explained it in the past why that is the case. So the second and the third week, great weeks for trading. The first and the fourth, not so great. Okay, the fourth, maybe the first 2 days of the week will be fantastic, but then the last 3 days will be the word I don't want to mention. Okay, we do have the news event in the next 1 minute 18 seconds. The core retail sales and retail sales is high impact, so we will observe it, but I think today it might not be much of a high impact news, so I'll just pause for maybe 2 minutes and then we'll come back, because I don't think this is going to create a lot of big moves. So we will come back maybe in 1 minute or 2 minutes. We'll just see how it will impact the market, and then we'll come back and then continue. All right, so let's give ourselves 1 minute and then we'll come back, or 2 minutes, we come back and continue. The news is in about 10 seconds or 20 seconds. Okay. As I said, it's not going to be any of a big impact news, but you can see that they've used that news to drop into that gap, right? So if you did place the buy limit, right, you're already in a nice trade. Okay, then the same thing as the pound. If you did place the buy limit, you're already in a nice trade. So just leave it. If you did buy it, just leave it and let's see. Because I think all that it did was just pull back into this fair value gap, and then we will resume going lower. I think we're gonna come and attack this low here, right? And then that low. So if you manage to get in, well done. If you didn't, wait. Okay, let's carry on. So I've done all the pairs that needs to do. Let's go to gold. Now gold this week I'm expecting higher prices. We had a big push above this high, February high, confirming that we are likely going to continue going up for the month of March. So personally, I would say sit and wait for price to drop in here. So we want the low of the week to form in here. Yep, either here or there, these two gaps. So let me, this first one is not bad, same thing as the second one. Second one too is not bad. So yeah, patience, wait, let them drop in here, and then you look for the buy, preferably tomorrow, not today, preferably tomorrow, because Tuesdays likes to form the low of the week, right? So I would say preferably tomorrow, and then we look for a reversal to form on Tuesday, and then we go back up again. So on the gold market, just be patient for a low of the week to form. Now in terms of targeting, I think last week we projected this down candle to the upside, and that came out 3,033. Okay, so 3,033, that is the target for the week. It can go beyond that to 3,080. It can go to 3,080, but aim for 3,033 first. And entry will be somewhere down here. Stop loss can go below this down candle, right? We don't want them to break that. So entry can come in any of this gap, but stop loss needs to be below, or you can put it below this candle's low. It's fine. In terms of entry, you can choose which gap you want to use, or again, just sit and wait, let price come there, and then give you the entry. Okay. Crude oil. So crude oil, I got stopped out this morning because I got my entry last week in here. I mean, I've taken partial. One of them was stopped at a break even. I got another entry on Friday. Was in profit, and then market open, stopped out. So I'm out of the game on crude oil. I'm now waiting for another entry. Now on the weekly time frame, we do have a gap here. We had this candle as an inside candle. So what I'm expecting is for them to I'm expecting them to reject this fair value gap and then come back down again to attack these lows properly. Okay, so this week I'm gonna be looking for a sell on crude oil. Hence, watch this fair value gap here, or this high to this low. Okay, watch that. That will be the range. You want them to come maybe to this candle's low, or just here. But if they can stretch it to this candle's low, that would be perfect. And then we will we'll be anticipating for them to come back down again. All right. So watch 618. So day and time is important. What day do they get there and what time? Then watch this. If they get there today, don't do anything, because today is still Monday, right? So don't do anything. And it's a good thing that price has opened and is going up first. We always like that idea that price will open and then it goes up first. So the fact that the crude oil has opened and it's going up first, that's a good thing. Okay, very, very, very good thing. So let them go up to one of these areas and then we will anticipate them rejecting and then we will sell it back down again, right? So wait for price to get to that area, then we will look for a continuation to the downside. Okay, so watch here and here, day and time. The time will be preferably London or New York. It will take out previous day's high. So it's either they will come up today and then tomorrow take out today's high, reject. And I've showed you how we want to see that rejection, right? It needs to break. And once we break, we look for similar to how dollar index broke down over here. Here, right? I think it's on the 15 minutes right here. So previous day's high, and then we break down. Then we look for the sell to continue going down. That's what you're gonna be doing for the crude oil. Okay. Until then, sit put, let them come up, and then we look for the sell. ES. This was also a disappointment on Friday, because on Friday I was expecting them to go down during the 2 p.m. session or my 2 p.m. right? But it didn't. It went higher. On the daily, it closed above this down candle. Now the downside still prevails. I still think we will be going down from the weekly time frame perspective. We will still be coming down. Maybe this week it will manipulate and then we resume going lower. So I like the fact that we are opening and we're going up. Watch Wednesday's high. It's a higher high. It's a high resistance. So watch Wednesday's high, because they can take that and then reject and resume going lower. That is where I will anticipate the high of the week forming, or the fair value gap just above it right here. Okay, so let's see. From the weekly perspective, we closed bearish, so this week you want bearishness. Okay, that's how it is. Yeah, they couldn't hold this gap, so we are looking for lower prices. Now let's go over to the crypto market. Nothing really much has happened. And good news, a little bit of good news. We had AI closing through the gap on a daily basis, which was good. And on Sunday, I woke up to see this big candle going up. I was excited and then deflated again. But to me, it's a good sign, right? You can see how big that candle is. That's why I like this AI 16, because when it decides to go up, one candle can give you like 20%, just one candle. I think when this candle was up here, we were around, I think 20% or 23%. Yeah, from the opening price, when it opened, shut up. Yeah, if my mind recalls properly, I think I saw about 23%. And then just a couple of hours after, then it came right back down. Does it change the narrative? It does change it a little bit because of the wick. But on the weekly, we have rejected a previous week low with a kind of an up candle. So that again is a good sign. It's a good sign that this is happening in discount. So we are likely going to go for that previous week high and even potentially trading inside this range. The only problem is it has created a gap on the weekly. This to that. And like I said, gaps and up candles, when we are dropping, they act as resistance. So they can rally into it and then still come back down again. If they can close above the gap, then yeah, we will be having some interesting price action on the AI 16. But until then, just for this week, if you are a day trader, if you are long term, like just hold it, okay? Because that's what we're doing. But if you are like a short term to day trade, then this week you're looking for that previous week high as a target, right? And in terms of entries, I'll wait for the day to close and see how it's, because it needs to take out the previous day's low. It needs to take out this low here. Okay, so this low, you wanna wait, let them take that one out, and then maybe the rejection you buy after it rejects. Okay. Solana. So we did go above the gap, but not so much. It's still rejected. Now, one thing that I found about the gaps, which I don't know whether to talk about it or not, but yeah, let me talk about it so that some people will understand it. When you see a gap like this, okay, always drop down to the lower time frame. Don't take the gap as the one on the higher time frame, because yes, the gap is on the higher time frame, but the price action that created a gap on the high time frame is on the lower time frame. So what you do is you go down to the lower time frame and then you check, because the lower time frame price action is what created this big down candle, making this one a gap. So when you see a gap, Okay, always make sure you check the inside of that, which is this candle drop down. So we call it refinement. You are refining the gap. So when you drop down, you're gonna see that we have this and then that, which is all within this candle. Okay, or within that candle. So most of the time, and you can go and check. Okay, I'm not making this up. Okay, you might bear with me. Let me turn on my Telegram. Turn it off. Okay. Maybe you might think that I'm making this up, but I'm not. Okay, it's a real thing. That's when I started digging into fair value gaps. So let me see if I can find an example. Okay, here. This one. Okay, that is the gap. But notice where the wick is rejecting from. Okay, is above the gap. So what is above that gap? There is something. Okay, another example is here. That's the gap, but it goes above it and it's rejecting. So what is here? There is something. See if I can find an example. Here, that is the gap, but it goes below it and it's rejecting from there. What is there? There is something, and that thing is what I'm trying to show you right here. Okay, you need to drop down to the lower time frame and investigate that candle. Okay, I think I'm sharing a little bit more today on the gaps, which is fine. I was going to do that for the holders only, but it's fine because I need you to understand that sometimes price can go above the gap that you might think it's now broken, but it's not. Okay, so in future when I see the one that breaks, I'll show you, and then you go down to the lower time frame and then you see that they went actually up. Dollar index is a typical example. Okay, let's go to dollar index. um, this one, right? Why is price not rejecting right here, but it goes right above it and then it rejects? Because there's something above it. Okay, there's something above it, and it needs to reject it, because that is what price needs to trade above. Let me see if I can find another example here. This was a good one, because most people would have expect price to go up. Every ICT, student, if they are not aware of this, they will assume not this one because it did reject the gap. On the Solana, they will aim for higher prices. Yeah. Okay. After we closed above this, they will aim for higher prices because by definition, if we've rejected a low and you trade through the gap, that is quote unquote a reversal sign. Okay, and then they will look. But if you don't investigate the candle, that's where the problem will come. Okay, so the reason why price rejected is because we had a gap inside the candle that created the gap that we are focusing on. Okay, so dollar index, this candle here created the gap that we are focusing on. Hence, everything inside this candle is important. Okay, especially if you can drop down and find a gap above it here, because the daily one ends here. The H4 does not end there, it ends here. Okay, and even if they could have gone a little bit higher, that little one up there would have rejected price and then come back down again. Okay, so that's some lesson for you for today. So Solana will go down again. It will continue going down. It has not changed direction. It will resume going down. So this week expect Solana to go down. Okay, don't be bullish, because it's not. It'll come back, I think, for this low. It might not be this week, but it will definitely come back for this low. It'll probably do it this week. Let's see. So Solana, your target still remains at 110, like yesterday's candle. Bitcoin didn't even trade above it. We've rejected. We've gone several times and it keeps rejecting. So Bitcoin, we are looking for a run for previous week low, and then I think the level that I gave was 618, somewhere here. Okay, so Bitcoin, lower prices. Ethereum, lower prices. Previous week low. That's your target for now. Hype, lower prices. I think it will come back for this low. And then XRP, leave it alone. Okay, leave XRP alone. Don't touch it. That's all. Interesting price action happened on here, and let's talk about it, because it was so quote unquote magnificent. It was magnificent. Seeing that price action was crazy. How powerful some of the stuff that I'm sharing with you are. Right, let's take this one off. Okay, so last week, if you remember, I said watch this candle's low, because we took out a previous day's low and then it went higher, took out this high, and then we rejected, went into the breaker, and I said they will come and attack this low, but don't expect it to drop down, because we have a high resistance here. So if we take out this low, it's going to reject right there. The levels are still there, and then they went right back up again. And I also said, because this is a daily low and it's high resistance, if they go below it, price will reject, and they did that right here. Okay, so based on that that rejection, I'm seeing a potential move back up to this candle's high, and that will be probably it. So I'm seeing a potential move from here back to this candle's high, and that's it. I think that would be a day trade, because we've taken out same price action, previous day's low taken, rejection, pull back up, previous day's low taken, rejection, and I spoke about London taking out previous day's low, rejecting, and that's very powerful, dynamic, big move. So this will be a pullback, and you wanna buy to go up here, and that's it. Don't expect too much. So maybe a day trade to go up there, and that's it. Okay, and then I think it will come back down again, because it looks like it's not done, or probably it's accumulating. We might stay in a long-term consolidation in here. So the buy-in at the low. Okay, so you can do something like this. Okay, so the buy-in at the lower quadrant and the selling at the upper quadrant. That's the gain. So now we are in the lower quadrant. So that's why be a good idea to buy in the upper quadrant. Okay, that's all. That level still piques my interest on the daily. That level still piques my interest. It didn't quite get there, but I still believe that that might be the case. Previous week high. It's an inside candle, so, and it's an up candle previous week high, and they might stretch it to that candle's high. All right, so maybe today, if we close above this, then you can look for a buy to continue going up. All right, that's it from the crypto market. Now, the crypto market, in my opinion, right now, it's very, very, very on nervy. It's unsettling. I don't think it's giving those that wants to buy and hold, is not giving them joy, and even those traders that want to just buy is not giving them joy. And this is the time that if you are just a buyer only, you are going to struggle is not even the word, and it's going to make it hard for you, because the buys don't move up much. It goes up and then it rejects, it goes up and then rejects. But if you trade both sides, you're good, because you can look for sell ideas. But if you only buy, I'm not trying to give you a bad idea about it, but you can see what it's doing for buyers, right? Even sellers, if you're not careful, it can take your ends to go in your favor, unless you apply some of the things that I'm telling you. Wait for previous day's high to be taken first. Right here, let's say you wanted to sell, right? What is the wait for previous day's high to be taken? Let them break structure, and then you sell. Would you have got a trade idea? Maybe here not, because it didn't break structure, but the next day, which was yesterday, it did. So this is Sunday, this is Saturday. Sunday took out Saturday's high, broke down, pull back, fair value gap, up candle, sell short, and then that's where we are now. Okay, so if you're a seller and you listen, you'll be in a nice trade idea. If you don't listen, maybe you might sell here and pull back to the fair value gap, or maybe here and pull back to this range. Okay, but if you're a buyer, not so much, right? Not so much. All right, let's go back and check the dollar index. Now euro is flying. If you did buy, well done. If you didn't, wait for another opportunity. British pound also going up. If you did buy, the H4 has now closed. Okay, can it come back to that level for the low of the H4? Maybe, maybe not. Okay, so the H4 has closed, so we've opened a new one. So pretend, and this is the beauty about price action, just pretend this is a weekly chart. Okay, so if a weekly chart we open, we're gonna drop, we're gonna rally. So where will you likely drop? Same level, somewhere here. So if you want, you can place a buy limit here. That's if it's gonna come there, and then you can get in. If not, wait for, use the H1 as the daily. So wait for the daily to close. So in the next 58 minutes, you can use that candle as a daily. Wait for that one to close, and then you use the next candle as a daily, and then you buy that one. I just gave you a lot in that statement. Think about it. You understand. Okay, so my time is up. Thank you for joining me today. I will see you same time tomorrow, and we will explore price action. Have a good morning, afternoon, evening. Take care.